Well, folks, welcome back to Bob McVay's place. This is Bob McVay. He is back from vacation. You may notice he's a little bit more tan, a little more svelte. Spent a week down in Myrtle Beach. And he's back and ready to rock and roll. And we are fresh off the FedEx truck with my Eric Weingartner modified Jegs cylinder heads. For those of you who are not familiar with this project, let me catch you up real quick. We decided a while back we were going to take a NASCAR on Hot Rod Power Tour, and we needed to repower that NASCAR, which means I needed to build a small block in a short period of time, which I didn't have access to. But Mr. Bob had a friend that had a 406 short block that was sitting way back there in the corner that just needed a top end kit. I offered to be able to make a top end kit, work for this motor, and then give him the motor. He said yes, Bob was willing to do it, so we did it. We put ourselves together a 406 small block with a set of Jegs top end stuff. So Jegs heads, Jegs rockers, Jegs push rods, Jegs intake manifold, Jegs carburetor, all the good stuff. We tossed it in the Jegs race car. We took it on Hot Rod Power Tour, and it was a freaking blast. We had a fantastic time. But it didn't make quite enough power. Was there ever really enough power? So what we did was we tapped our friend Eric Weingartner out in Oklahoma. Said, Eric, can you make these very, very budget heads badass? And the answer is, yes, you can. So Eric has done a full CNC port job on these budget aluminum heads. And they flow quite a bit better than they did before, which should make a considerable amount of difference when we bolt them back onto this motor. Is this something most people would do? Probably not, because this is not an inexpensive option. However, this is showing you what you can get out of a set of very budget heads. Now, if you are a person who's comfortable porting your own heads, this is maybe something you can get 85% of this in just doing it by yourself. And that's kind of the value added proposition here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to assemble these heads and toss them on Bob's flow bench. And we're going to test and verify our flow numbers against Eric's flow numbers that he had out in Oklahoma. And then we're going to go ahead and get these heads reassembled, which is going to be another video. But today we're going to be talking about just doing actual head flow stuff. We did upgrade the intake valves as well. Exhaust valves are the stock size exhaust valves. We did go to a slightly larger intake valve, which is not a big deal. It did give us a bit more airflow as well. But it'll be neat to see how this whole process works. So Bob's going to do most of the work. I'm going to do most of the talking. That's kind of how our relationship works. Right?
Yeah.
See? Told you. So this is a Brzezinski plate. Small block Chevy, an LS1 4155.
Same thing he uses.
Same thing. He uses the Brzezinski stuff as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And you got like a rubber head gasket process here. Set it on the dowel. Get our hose mounted up. And this has been, for those of you who haven't been here before, this is your first episode with us. We do have the upgrade recently to doing this as a digital situation. So instead of having to do all of our calculations by hand, we have this handy dandy little computer that does it. The nice thing with this is it will do multiple samplings. So when you're holding it at whatever lift, say 500 lift, instead of you kind of trying to balance it out on here and then do all your math with a pencil and paper and just taking one sample part, this will take multiple samples at that exact same flow rate, and it'll give you an average of it. So it's a little bit cleaner as far as the process goes. It's also a heck of a lot faster. We can flow test a set of heads in maybe an hour, start to finish, versus half a day when you're doing it by pencil and paper and that kind of stuff. So this is a whole lot smoother process. Definitely a worthwhile upgrade for the house that Bob McVay made. I'm excited to see what these things do. I'm very, very excited. Roughly speaking, and I don't want to overpromise here, but roughly speaking, if you've picked up 50 CFM on a set of heads, you have the potential to pick up 100 plus horsepower. Air in, air out. That's how that works. So if you can now flow over 300 CFM on those heads, technically speaking, this engine should be capable of making close to 600 horsepower or more. We also opened up the exhaust side, which will give us even more gains. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this goes. And this is still a real budget-minded build. it's still going to run these Jegs heads. It's still going to run the Jegs intake manifold, which is probably going to run into where our restriction is going to be. I don't know what that intake can be able to do. It's their cool gap intake manifold, dual plane style, so I have no idea how much max flow that thing can make. It's probably not going to be able to keep up with the heads, but power potential here is fantastic, and these are still going to be 93 octane heads. We're still going to be able to do this on 93 octane, so it's going to make a lot of power, and it's going to be able to do it on actual real pump gas, not poor man's race gas like that E85 stuff that some people preaches. Pump gas. It's not. Jumping into our software here, also just to keep this completely transparent. 208 intake valves and still 1.6 exhaust valves. We didn't touch those at all. And we are going to be using a donut style intake made out of Play-Doh to simulate your intake runner. Our little doohickey here mounted up so that you can test at varying lifts. How about that? Also, as far as full transparency goes, when we put this thing together, we are upgrading to a set of aluminum 1.5 rockers, so still the same rocker ratio as the stamped steel ones we originally had used, but we did go ahead and move up to some aluminum ones. And we've also got a brand new set of comp cams valve springs as well. The plan with this motor is when this is all done and ready to run, once we've got this part all verified, what we're trying to do here is double check our machines and our flow numbers against Eric's flow numbers. This is a new process for Bob, so we're kind of calibrating, using this to calibrate his dyno, his flow bench dyno versus Eric's flow bench dyno. So that's part of what we're doing here. And then this is actually going to immediately go get assembled on that short block that's been sitting here, and we're going to toss it on the dyno and make this thing run. Once this is all said and done, this motor's coming out and it's going to one of Bob's friends. It's a local guy here. It's got a 79 Camaro, and this is going to power his freshly rebuilt 79 Camaro with a brand new Vickers transmission in it. And we got a bunch of other goodies we're going to put in this thing. It's going to be a rip-roaring little street motor that makes way too much power. Too much power?
That's possible.
At this point, I probably need to go ahead and give you some homework here as far as how this worked out. So, Eric was good enough to test these heads when we sent them off as they were before he did any work with them. When we did them before, at 100 lift, it was at 62.4. 200 lift was 129.7. 300 lift was 183.6. 400 lift was 224.6. 500 lift was 251.9. 600 lift was 264.3, 700 lift was 272.4, and then after that it tailed off. 800 lift it was 260.9, and then 900 lift was 263.7. We did not pull it that far to be able to really care about it because we don't have a 800 lift camshaft or a rocker multiplier that gets us anywhere near that kind of lift. But it lets you know as far as where you were. And then when he tested this afterwards, after he did his porting, he did retest it. And he picked up 12 at 200 lift, 15 at 300 lift, 20 at 400 lift, 32 at 500 lift, 40 at 600 lift, 44 at 700 lift, and 47 at 800 lift. So huge amount of gain as far as what we're seeing on the actual head flow, and that was with the 202 valves without doing the valves. He then retested it again once he redid it with the 208 valves on it and picked up even more numbers. What we are going to try to do is we're going to use this essentially as our configuration to be able to properly make sure that our machine is flowing exactly the same as his machine. So we're just going to basically run through this one, the whole thing. The nice thing is with this digital machine, we literally just go to I go to field number 1, data point number 1, which is 100 lift. We set the valve to 100 lift, hit the button, it starts pulling vacuum against it. We get the adjustment here to 28 inches, hit record, it does what it's supposed to do, spits out what our numbers are. When we're done with that, we move to 200. So just screw this down, another 100 lift, sample it again, boom, sample it again, boom, sample again, and we can really rapidly go through this whole process instead of having to change a bunch of stuff and go through it the old-fashioned way. So really, really useful. Also, huge thank you to Eric for doing all of the homework here for us to make sure that our numbers and his numbers match. This is kind of a new thing for us over here to be able to do this. Is something we can verify stuff with in the future. Because realistically speaking, in most cases, your engine power limitation is usually going to be your head flow. Whether or not you can get enough air in and air out of your unit. We never bothered to configure the exhaust flow on this, so now that we have exactly the same machine that Eric tested in Oklahoma, we can also configure our exhaust flow on this as well to be able to make sure that that's configured correctly. So that's the whole point of what we're doing here. Also to double check and verify that we're doing all of this stuff correctly. So super exciting. I'm super excited to see what this thing's going to do. It's going to be a very rowdy street motor. And I was talking to Bob a little bit off the camera a minute ago. For those of us who have been in this industry for a while, how crazy is it that we're talking about a 550 horsepower or more, than maybe close to 600 horsepower pump gas street small block? How crazy is that? That was literally unthinkable 20 years ago. And now it's just a matter of technology, and all of our knowledge has advanced that far that we're now talking about the potential of a 600 horsepower pump gas small block. Wild. So we're going to go ahead and pull this from 1 all the way up. So I'll set this to 1. Our range needs to be 2, so that needs to go back to 2. Okay. Our flow reading is 0%. Hit it. Bob McVay working the knobs, trying to get our pressure down to 28 inches. DJ Bob working the knob. They'll take all those different samplings. Click, 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 click. Okay. So we flow 80 CFM at 100 lift. Compared to his numbers, which were 73.2. So we're maybe a little off on our low lift. So dial it down to 200. And we are going to need to change to range 3 because we maxed out range 2. We were at 100.1%. We're seeing 131.3. Eric with the larger valves was 145. Okay, so we can play with our correction factor to get this dialed in. That's the whole idea of this thing. So let's go to 300. And we need to go to range 4. Flow 210.7 at 300, and he was flowing 201.5, so we're a little over there. Higher. So we're under on those two, we're high on that one. And then 400. This is so much more efficient. So 400, we were 259.9. And 400 here, we were 247.6, so we're a little over there. Okay. And intake 500, so go down another 100. Changed the harmonics of that a ton. That was weird. All right, so 500 lift, we are at 306. 500 lift, he's at 283. I wonder if did our donut pop or something? It changed the sound for sure. No? Or a spark plug come loose? Huh. Weird. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that, but the harmonic changed for sure. 400 again. What that change in harmonic was?
I think it's just the air turbulence. Well, now you really screwed it all up. We'll never get it back the same.
It was whistling. All right, we're going to retest at 500 again. Better. That's more consistent. So he was at 283. We're at 293. So we just need to make a correction factor there. But our difference there is something. And the harmonic was different. It wasn't whistling like it was. So we had a donut failure maybe. All right. So we're still on flow 4. Got a 600 lift. So down one more. Okay, so 600, we are at 305.2. He was at 311.2, so we're pretty close. We'll be able to fix a lot of this with correction factor. And then 700 lift.
One more?
Yep. And he pulled this all the way to 900 lift, so. You should see basically the same here. So 305, 309, 6 to 7. We were 309, he's at 312. So it tables off right here at 700. So he did pull it to 800 and 900 if you want to go ahead and pull it. It's not like it takes a lot of time to do this. At 800. We were at 317 over here, and then 900.
One more?
Yep. 600 lift. We were at 314. He was at 318.5. So overall, we had a couple of things we can do. Nice thing is, this is just correction factor stuff. So we can actually go into the software here and adjust our flow bench adjustments. Enter ranges for your flow bench. So we can literally go in here and just change these around a tiny little bit and essentially use his numbers as our calibration numbers to be able to verify this. I believe Eric's also coming with his test plates.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to double check.
Yeah, but I can't imagine it's more than 1% or 2.
Yeah. Nice thing is having access to Eric is you've got somebody who does this all day long every day versus this is kind of a new toy for you that you don't really play with much. So
we may get into doing just more testing.
Well, as a value-added thing for you,
yeah,
I think it's extremely useful. And now that it's pretty reasonably quick, you can knock out bang, 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 bang. It's not going to be a whole day of flow testing.
No.
So it also will give you a much better understanding of
what the engine's run like.
Yeah, when you get it on the dyno and you go, oh, it only made 400 horsepower, but we know the head flow, 275. Well, clearly it's not a head flow issue. Right. Find your other point of.
Well, and the other part of it is with the research of this particular head on this 406, I think it gives you an idea of what the expectations are out of this CC versus this CC of flow. And then also, what can you do with the camshaft to make it better? Right.
Well, also, where is your power band done? So, we're seeing that there's no point in going to a radical 700 lift camshaft if you're flowing the same amount of air.
Yeah.
So,
but it really doesn't turn off.
No.
It just stays the same.
Right. It just tables off. Right. And realistically speaking, we made, I think 480 is what we all agreed it made before. And if we look back at our CFM numbers pre-porting, that kind of plays out in some of the numbers. The question's going to be, is the camshaft that we have in there now going to utilize all of the airflow that we now have in the heads? And the nice thing is we can test that.
Well, we're going to, and then we're going to put the super cam in it and see what it does.
Yeah. So we may not be restricted by head flow. We may be restricted by just the camshaft physically can't do what we need it to do. Now the other one that we're going to use is it's not really listed as any kind of a camshaft you can buy from anybody.
Yeah.
This is kind of a...
No, it's off the shelf cam.
Okay. So that'll be interesting to see. Now we also want to, if we could test the exhaust side of this as well.
We'll just see what we got to do the calibration part of that.
So I want to recalibrate this if we can real quick to make our numbers match his, and then we can just knock through it real quick and make sure that our numbers repeat, rinse and repeat. And also, you brought this up in one of the previous videos. It was the donut, how much of a difference the donut can make.
Yeah, I was kind of. I was kind of saddened by how much it makes a difference. That's why I was hoping to by bolting the intake on there that would stabilize it, but it really didn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, somewhat, I think all this is numbers, and I think it's just numbers that the individual, like a place to shop, can go by. I mean, advertised numbers. I don't really like to comprehend the advertised numbers. I don't care who it is. It's just I think it's more justifiable by the shop, or what you're building and what you're trying to do.
I think on my side of things as a customer, this is really, really handy to be able to understand what I truly have and what my potential really is. Versus it says it on the box that it's a blah 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 CC.
And
blah,
honestly,
blah, blah.
I think this is more the bigger the cubic inch the motor.
True.
I mean, the small block stuff is unique but we're slicing small things on the small block. Now you get into the big block Chevrolet, and we've got so much larger cubic inch that we're needing to move, the air makes much more difference. I think the big block is a whole new can of worms.
Yeah. Well, you have to physically move.
Yeah, I mean, one of the
So
first
much
jobs here several years ago when we opened this up was we had a big block that wouldn't run on the dyno, and wouldn't run, and it was just too small a cylinder head, and which I think at the time we bought these Brinsky plates just to test it, and then we put a big set of heads on it. Holy shit!
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It was truly amazing.
But back in the day, also, we didn't ask for a lot of RPM out of those big blocks.
Well, no.
You know, we were 5,000 RPMs. It's kind of over with. Nowadays, you spin them to
whatever.
Right. So you're having to be able to physically move a ton of air
Right.
in and out of those things to be able to fill up, 500 plus cubic inches of big block.
Yeah.
So interesting little pieces of science to be able to do this. And I will say this little beast makes this so much easier to do.
It does.
There's no more pen and paper doing math and
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is I still don't use this machine enough.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, the more I visit, you will.
yeah, well, to justify it to a degree.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you got to make the machine pay for itself.
well, you do, but you got to pay your time and doing it, and everything is so expensive anymore
Yep.
that you're just trying to, satisfy the customer to a degree. And
Yeah. Well, it helps me be satisfied.
uh
I know roughly speaking what our power potential is going to be. Now it's just a matter of whether or not everything else that we're going to stack in this thing will match up to it.
well, and that's where the camshaft
Right.
that I'm learning about is interesting.
That's another world of black magic.
It is.
Lift,
It is.
duration,
Yeah, but
profile.
But it comes back to play with this and everything else.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do some wizardry on the keyboard, and I'll be back with you guys in just a second. All right, did a lot of keyboard wizardry that's not at all exciting to watch. I think we've got the recalibration done correctly, so we're going to start all over again and pull this rapidly all the way through to double check our results, and we'll see where we are. So data point number 1, which is 100 lift, range 2. Hang on, let me zero this out real quick, just to make sure we're playing by the right rules here. Yep. Zero me out. Okay. Here we go. So 75.4 to 73.2. I like it. All right. So we'll go to 200 lift and range 3. Bullet. $145.3, 145.
Overheated.
Oh, did we? Pissed off your shop vac? Oh, that's all right. We'll take a minute. Take a Mountain Dew break and some chips.
So we done with that one?
Yes. So we're going to go to 400 lift or 300 lift. 300 lift, range 4. There's a lot to this. This would drive me nuts trying to do this with one person. Yeah. All right, go to 4. We just tested 3 off camera. Sorry about that. 200.5. He had 201.5. 1 CFM. I'll call that a win. Go ahead and pull it. Or 247.5, 247.6. That's about as calibrated as we could be. All right, go ahead, 500 lifter. Down another 100. $277 versus 283.
Was I high?
You were a little low. Why, you feel like you were high?
No, I didn't it hadn't quite down. It was 28.6 or 28.2 or whatever. It was
You want to pull it again?
No, it was fine. It was just, it won't get any lower. Or I mean, it'll go lower.
600 lift. There we're starting to differentiate. At 600 lift, he's at 311, we're at 291.
Oh.
All right, well, with a whole bunch of finagling, I'd say we're close enough. Eric is actually going to be flying, maybe driving out here next week to be able to assist us with a bunch of things. Bob has his 427 that's going to be in the dyno room. We have my 406 that's going to be in the dyno room, and I think Bill's maybe Bill's 427 will also be in there. And Eric's going to spend a week with us here to be able to do all kinds of testing. He sent a bunch of extra heads that we're going to test on different motors. We're going to try different camshafts. We're going to try all kinds of stuff. We're going to utilize Eric for as long as we possibly can. And he's also bringing his configuration plates that are designed specifically for making sure that all of this stuff is correct. We're just kind of hunting and pecking, I guess the term would be, to be able to get this correct as far as matching our numbers to his numbers, and we're pretty damn close. I just don't know some of the things that I don't know, and Eric is very much the pro on this thing, so we'll put Eric to use getting all the configuration done on this. So that part we verified we're good. We're going to be max flow basically 600-700, and you're 312, 315 CFM. So if that plays out numbers-wise, numerically speaking, you're 625 to 640 horsepower-ish. I can't imagine we're going to get anywhere near that numbers, but the heads technically should flow that if we get up to the 600 lift side of things. So definitely heads capable of more than 600 horsepower, which is freaking amazing for a budget set of heads. So next thing we're going to try is the exhaust side of things, which we have not done any configuration on at all. But I know from Eric's side of things that he was able to pick up more than 50 CFM on the exhaust side of head porting, which is something a lot of people kind of tend to stay away from. But Eric has proven multiple times that there is a lot of power to be made on the exhaust side of head porting, because if you can't get the exhaust out, although it is being pressed, unlike intake air that's being sucked in, the exhaust air is pushed out. So you don't need quite as much to be able to get it out of there, but I know that there is definitely some restriction on the exhaust side. So we'll go through and test all this stuff on the exhaust side, and we'll see what we can come up with on that. So you having fun yet?
Does he put a donut on there?
He says no exhaust pipe on his thing. So I would say we don't need to move the donut.
All right. So I got it down to 500 lift. Let's just turn it on and
see what it does?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go to exhaust 2.
It's actually 1, but that's okay.
Yeah, whatever. And we're going to do this at... These lift numbers are all wrong. Hold, please. Need to change something. I would say probably range 4? Probably. And we're going to try this at 500 lift. Far off. That's a lot louder.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot louder. Not far off. He's at 210. We were at like 205. So I'll make a little short change there. Range 4. Right? Yeah. Resave. Okay, try it again. And like that. Okay, now you want to try, I guess go all the way up. All the way up to 100.
All right. So we were at 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you want to go to?
100.
Oh.
It's late in the day.
Yes, okay.
It's late in the day. Late in the day. All right, so we're gonna go to 100 lift and range 2. The range thing, by the way, is kind of like what like a restrictor flap that works inside of there to be able to limit the amount of air that actually comes through there. Whoa. Really tight. I'll sample that one again. Hang on. It's surging. We'll let it calm down for a second.
Why don't we go, let's go to 3. See if we can get better control of it.
Yeah, that's seems pissed. All right, so we're gonna do 300 lift.
Oh,
you want to do 300?
I want to do 300. I mean, I want to do the same as we was doing, but
On range 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Exhaust range 3. Go ahead. A little easier. Yep. Vacuum said, I'm done.
Well, you left me on 2 too long.
Yeah. Shop vac got a little pissed. Be back in a minute. That was close though. That was like 50-ish CFM, and our goal is 49.8, so pretty close. Is this fun? Is this interesting to watch? I don't know. Hopefully. Science. This is what happens. This is the real world behind the machine shop stuff. You know? It's the stuff nobody sees.
We usually take our look at it.
Well, most of the time, like the machine shop stuff or the dyno stuff is like you show up, yeehaw, you make a pull, life is good, walk away. Like you don't see the hours and hours and hours and days of frustrations of machining and getting parts to fit and waiting on parts and all that kind of stuff. The world of Bob McVay and the engine builder is a very frustrating world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for sale, by the way.
Bob would like to sell everything he has and become a pirate. That's my retirement plan.
May happen.
That's my retirement plan. Moving to a boat and live in the Caribbean and just sail around all year long. That's my plan.
Okay.
We're almost done. 410. Almost done.
Yeah, I didn't
Hit a wall?
I hit a wall. I didn't get anything done.
I get it. We're getting stuff done.
I need to find those retainers.
Yeah, I don't think I took those with me. Okay, let me call Uncle Terry real quick. All right, thanks for saving the day again, Uncle Terry. Appreciate you. Boys at Jegs have got exactly what we need. When we disassembled this, we may have both been in a little bit of bad mood, and there were some bits and pieces that may or may not have supposed to have been made it out of the shop, that may have made it into a bag of stuff, and ended up at Jegs. Whose fault that is. We don't want to point fingers around here. It's not the kind of guys we are. But I do need to make a run into Jegs in the morning. so we can get these heads reassembled to get them on the short block. You think your vacuum is cooled down enough? We can run this real quick.
Yep.
Do. All right, so you're on 2 or 3. Wow. There's no way that's right. That's got to still be at
1.
1. Okay.
2.
There we go.
Tired today.
Get tired. He tested at 107.8, we tested at 104.3. So I could make a slight adjustment there real quick. This is in range 3. Exhaust. By the way, I do have a history in IT, so that does make this life a little easier for all of us. What? Too far. Okay. Now we're talking.
Ready?
Yep. Yep. Yes, sir. All right. He tested at 107.8. We tested at 107.7. I like it. Plus, you never know what the air difference is between Oklahoma and Mount Vernon. All right. So we're going to be on 3.
Am I on 3?
I don't know. Did you go down some more?
I don't know. You pause and am I fucking 1, 2, 3.
All right. 143.4 versus 145.7. Close enough.
Down 1.
Down 1. Yep. Oh!
It doesn't like it on exhaust.
It doesn't like exhaust at all. All right, we're back. Okay. 400 left. Probably. 's actually maxing out the flow, and it's going to have to start guessing. So our flow percentage went from 89.6 to 110 or to 110. So it's just kind of guesstimating the above that. So we'll need to go up to the range 4 for that, and then we'll have to try to recalibrate range 4. So leave that on the same lift there. Go to this. Going to change this to range 4. Okay, try it again. See what it does. So 174, we got a, we were up against a 181.3, so let's make a little adjustment. In range 4. 4. Is that right? Yep, range 4. I'll take that down just a skosh. Wrong way, Austin. Quit modifying it the wrong way. Wrong way. Almost. Let's give her 2, 3 more. We'll go to 333. All right, let's go ahead and pull it again.
So
we're going to stay in 4, stay in 4, stay in 4. Versus 181.3. Close to dang enough. All right, and we were at 54% flow pressure, so we should be fine to hold the rest of this in 4. So 100 more. Test her again. We're looking for 210. Enough. Okay, give me one more hundredth.
Ready?
Yep. I'll take it. Close to dang enough. Our numbers versus Eric's numbers. So 50 CFM at 100, 108 at 200, 146 at 300, 182 at 400, 210 at 500, and 227 at a half at 600 lift. After that, it doesn't really matter. We're not doing anything more than that as far as lift goes. So I'd say we're pretty dang close to calibrated. Obviously, we can have a conversation about donuts and stuff, but this is non-donutted. I'd say that's pretty dang good. So the question's going to be, and I know you're not going to want to go on record for this, is how much we pick up over that as these in stock form. From 480. I would say I say 550 is easily within reach.
No, I don't think I'll go that far.
Really?
Not with that camshaft.
Okay. You think we're just going to run out of camshaft?
Yeah, I don't think that it'll go quite that. But now once I put that other camshaft in, I expect to be more than that.
Okay.
I'll be disappointed if not.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I'd say that's all we need to do. Terry's got some stuff for me to pick up in the morning. So I'll be at Jegs 11th Avenue first thing, and then I will run myself up here. But I am extremely happy. By the way, Mr. Eric, thank you very much for all the hard work that you put into these heads. The fact that these have been CNC ported versus me just sitting over there with a grinder.
Why don't you do a video of this? Look down through there. Let me get your light. Got a light down in there? Does it see?
Yeah.
You got a light down from the bottom side?
Oh.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it.
Pretty amazing, eh? When you look at it that way.
Yeah.
Now let's take looking at it. Is there a major difference between them two? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are a set of trick flows. Or no, I'm sorry, not trick flows, AFRs.
AFRs.
That-
And these are CNC'd.
Yes. But look at the difference between the two.
Yeah.
Major difference.
It's significant. It's significant. I am very much interested in seeing what kind of performance difference we're going to see in this. And the nice thing is we know that we're not going to be limited with our heads. Like, out of the game. That's no longer a question. Are the heads bad enough? Is that your limitation? So we know 100% that that's not correct now. So, we're going to be coming at you kind of fast and furious with these videos over the next couple of days. Tomorrow, once I get all the things that I need to get this stuff done, we'll get the heads reassembled and get them on the dyno. I did pick up a MLS head gasket set earlier today so that we can switch things out because he wants to test multiple heads on that 406.
Yeah, there's multiple sets over there.
Yeah, so we're going to have a whole bunch of stuff going on here. So we're going to test this thing as it came with just the changes to the head. So it's going to have slightly larger valves from a 202 to 208, same size exhaust valves. Compression's going to be almost identical. The port job that's on there, and that's basically it. We're going to have rockers that are going to be 1.5 standard 1.5 versus 1.5. We're going from stamp steel to aluminum, so there's going to be a little bit of maybe improvement as far as what that goes. Springs are going to be basically exactly the same. We're just putting a fresh set of springs in this thing, and then we're going to run it. So that way we can keep as close to apples as we possibly can to compare these two, what it was before to what it is now. And you're going to see that very rapidly. We'll probably get this thing, we'll get it on the dyno and fired up tomorrow, to be honest. Whether or not we pull on it, I don't know. Maybe we do. We can even get that done in one shot. I don't know. Depends on how much work we get done. And then we'll pull on it. We'll get those numbers, and then Bob's got to spend a bunch of time getting his 427 done and Bill's motor done, so that we can show you guys the difference in those kind of things. I think most of that's going to be over on the Old Man's Garage channel. I think Bill's going to probably do that. If not, if he needs me to film that stuff, I'll come up here and film it. It's not a big deal. But get all the other stuff done and running. And then Eric will be here next week to test a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll probably bring you 3 or 4 videos from up here. So hopefully you guys are in the mood for a bunch of dyno stuff, because there's going to be a lot of it coming here in the very near future. Small block Chevy stuff, 406 pump gas, small block Chevy. Going to be a ton of fun. And as I said, at the end of the day, we're donating this motor, giving this motor to a gentleman who much deserves it. Now, from what I hear, is rather excited about this.
Over the top.
Over the top. Brand new motor, brand new trans, new accessory drive, all the things. And he's already going to go out kicking ass and taking names. That's what you like to hear. Anything you want to say to the people before we call this quits?
No.
Are you happy with these?
Oh, tickled to death.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Very much so.
Well, I hopefully we can prove that the quality of his work shows on the dyno.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, I think if anybody saw the heads he did for the 415 and these heads he done for the 427,
yeah,
are impressive.
You picked up how much?
Oh, well, it was 150 horse and a good socket in ET.
Just with heads.
Just with heads.
That's wild.
Yeah, wild. I mean,
realistically, like, where else can you spend to pick up anywhere near that kind of power?
oh,
I mean, you could throw an even rowdier if you can.
Well, you could throw nitrous and all that stuff at that stuff.
Yeah, but that's a whole different game.
Yeah, but still, who would rather? Yeah. I would much rather put a set of heads on it.
Right, and make it NA without having to do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
You didn't make a camshaft that's undrivable to be able to make it.
Oh.
It's truly impressive. So I'm excited to see what this makes. I would say I will go out right now. I will say that I want to see this thing make 550. I think it's doable. You don't think so?
No, not with that cam.
Okay. Well, that's what I want to see.
Well, if it makes 550 with this cam, I don't know what it'll make with the other cam. Because I am just I have seen the proof on the other already on the dyno of what this other camshaft does, and if it backs up what I seen once, and if it don't, then I want to understand. Don't understand why it did it.
What we're missing?
What's missing as far as why that guy did that?
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll see. You think we're gonna see 600 with the other camshaft? Or close?
I don't know. I mean, I think it ought to knock on the door. It knocked on the door on the 600 with the other guys. I mean, these heads are going to be better than his.
So,
but I mean, combinations. There's one thing can be off, and,
right.
And the combination doesn't work.
Question is, where's your choke point?
Yeah, well, or why? What isn't happy? But you know, and if we can get the new ATM carburetor from Doug to try on this.
Yep, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
because you're getting a 750.
Yeah.
Which will be exactly the same as the Jegs unit I'm using.
Yeah, and it's for him for this motor, and now I want to dyno it with it on there, and you know, I guess if we don't get it, we don't. But
yeah, hopefully it shows up in time.
Hopefully it shows up. So if Doug's watching,
Doug, where's our carburetor? You got a day. All right, guys, thanks very much for being here. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this stuff. It's kind of sciencey stuff behind the scenes of what it takes to do stuff in the machine shop world. I like showing this kind of thing. For me, I'm really interested in all like how this side of things work, not just the fun dyno-y days stuff. So hopefully it was entertaining for you guys. If you're interested in this kind of stuff, you want to see all the upcoming small block Ford or small block Chevy stuff. Plus, we have a ton of small block Ford stuff to be doing. We now have three 331 Windsors sitting at the shop that need to be rebuilt. That's a story for another day. Anyways, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, click on the subscribe button. Hope to see you again. Thanks for watching this stuff. You're paying my bills. Blah, blah, blah. We'll see you around the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.